Hey guys, welcome to a brand new battle of the ICBA League by the CHELSEADRA. This is our week 1 battle. Now, very unfortunately, my computer crashed literally the second after I finished up the battle, so you guys won't get to see my live reactions or my live analysis on the battle, but we are up against OP Jellicent and his Toronto LEAFESTORMs. So as you can see, this is a different league from the MPL. This time around, you can use, or you were able to draft Pokemon from the Ubers League, and the two Ubers that we drafted were Zurkitree and Mega Blaziken. Now on the side of Sohan, Pheromosa is the only kind of, or OP Jellicent rather, Pheromosa is the only kind of Uber that he has, but Zeraora, Necrozma, and Kyurem Black are all pretty powerful Pokemon on their own. So we're gonna be reviewing the battle from the replay. I don't remember exactly what went down every turn. I do know that I led off with my Excelgor, and he led off with his Lycanroc. Both of us had no way to remove hazards on the field, so I went with a Spikes on my turn 1, and he chose to use Accelerock with his priority move, knowing that my Excelgor would be much faster than his Lycanroc. So I do get the first layer of Spikes, which is really nice, and then I figure Excelgor is worth conserving, simply for sacrificial purposes possibly. And so I decide to bring in Nidoking to take the next Accelerock, and then he's gonna go and set up his own Stealth Rock, and I may be over predicting, maybe not so much. Decide to go for a substitute. I felt like he was going to switch, but in the end he didn't, and then he reveals Drill Run. I do go for an attack, which brings down the the Lycanroc to its Focus Sash. Yeah, so he got some real good value off of that Lycanroc lead. Really well prepared lead for him. And so I know my Nidoking won't appreciate a Drill Run, so I switch out into my Latias, which is Choice Scarfed, and I get Stealth Rock damage. He misses the Drill Run, and then my Latias, I wasn't sure which attack to lock myself into because I am Choice Scarfed, so I decided Psychic. My other options were Hidden Power Ground and Dragon Pulse, and then he brings in his Mew, or Necrozma rather, and not knowing what to expect, I decided to switch out my Latias into Accelerock once again, to scout out and see what he wanted to do. And turns out he decides to set up the Reflect. So pretty scary there, because I figured it would be a holding light play, and therefore it's 8 turns of Reflect and then another 8 turns of Light Screen. Since it's super defensive, I figured my Metagross should be able to put in a lot of work against him, and I'd be able to either pursue him as he ran, which didn't do really any damage whatsoever, or I could just set up my Stealth Rock here. If he had switched and I had clicked Pursuit again, I wouldn't have dealt that much damage. And then we do see the Pheromosa, which gets hurt by Spikes, and now there's even more entry hazards for my opponent. And then this is a key turn in the battle. Pheromosa goes for a High Jump Kick and misses, and then my Meteor Mash does connect with the Pheromosa, and Metagross gets an attack boost. So that was an insanely lucky turn for me. That was like a 1% turn for me. I got really lucky, and that +1 allowed me to prevent this Mega Aggron from sweeping me, honestly, after we talked it out in the end. That was a key turn in the battle. That was a super lucky turn for me. And so we do see the Rock Polish. So Mega Aggron, I mean, it was already faster than my Metagross, so it wasn't that important. And as you can see, this 4x super effective Earthquake barely deals like 20 or 25% damage, so not a big amount. Mega Aggron's first Earthquake does go into my Choppleberry, which won't deal too much damage anyways, and based on the damage, I assume that my Metagross can take another Earthquake. So in order to prevent another Rock Polish by my opponent, I know I just need to keep clicking Earthquake to keep up the pressure. Now Mega Aggron decides to go for Hone Claws, increasing its attack and its accuracy, so very scary turn right there. But my Earthquake will put the Mega Aggron in some really low damage, and then I predict another Earthquake, definitely not going for a Stone Edge or a Steel move. So I got into my Latias again, which does take some Stealth Rock damage, and now there's the Earthquake. So here I did have Hidden Power Ground on the Latias. I wasn't sure if I wanted to lock myself into that, or a Dragon Pulse or a Psychic. I do in fact go for the Hidden Power Ground, going for the safer move because I wasn't sure if under Light Screen my other two attacks would be able to knock it out. But then comes in the Domino or Kyurem Black, which is really scary. Now I didn't know if this was Scarfed, Life Orbed or what, and so I decided to sacrifice my Nidoking into it, but this is where the problem really started. He goes for a substitute, so Kyurem Black is going to be faster than my Nidoking, and this is a pretty scary Pokemon to deal with for me at this point in time. We're gonna see a Dragon Claw, so not dealing too much damage. At that point I figured, or I decided I should have just stayed with a Nidoking to break the substitute, but in the end I didn't, and then I switched out my Metagross expecting an Earth Power going into Latias, but in fact my opponent chooses to go for a Shadow Claw, which hits both for super effective, which is a really good call on his part, and takes down my Scarfed Latias, which my plan was to break it up and then just have something else like Blaziken to just finish off this guy. However, that did not happen, and so here's my Blaziken. Now after I Mega Evolve, I know I will be faster, and then I've seen Substitute, Dragon Claw, and Shadow Claw, so I'm not sure what his last move is, but I know, or I can assume, since no Life Orb, it might not be Earth Power, so I figured or hoped that my Mega Blaziken would be able to take a hit, but in fact, my opponent chooses to use or reveal his Z move, so I should have suspected this because no Life Orb and no Choice Card definitely meant Z move. And so we find out that his last move is a lightning type attack. We don't know what it is, but does allow him to Gigavolt Havoc my Blaziken down to 0%. So this Kyurem has put in a lot of work for OP Jellicent at this point, but this is a perfect opportunity for my Zurkitry to just set up. I'm gonna go for a Z Hypnosis, which will raise my my speed. And he does switch out the Kyurem Black. I knew that with all the 3 moves he had and the fact that he already used his Z move, Zurkitry would be able to take just any hit, right? Just about any hit. And so I go for a Z Hypnosis and I do miss. However, this means I have +1 speed, so I know I'm gonna be faster than most or all of his team, and so I put the Necrozma to sleep. I go for my luck with Hypnosis the next turn, and I do hit. So hitting 1 of 2 Hypnosis seems like a good average, and then I go for the Tail Glow. So now I have a +1/+3 Zurkitry. My opponent does not in fact wake up on his first turn of sleep, and so Zurkitry is now free to just sweep my opponent's Pokemon. Now, based on what he had left, especially Zeraora, I choose to go for the Grass Knot to make sure that I get a KO, and then Zurkitry gets a special attack boost, so now I'm at +4 special attack with +1 speed, and unless this is Choice Card Zeraora, my Zurkitry should be able to win this out, and I am in fact faster. Grass Knot is not enough because this is Assault Vest. This is Assault Vest or Aura, but the knockoff doesn't do too much damage, and so I just go for another Grass Knot and knock him out. Any other Zero Aura and that +4 Grass Knot would have been a KO, but he did in fact have that Assault Vest. So that allowed him to survive, but now I have a +5 Surgery up against this Kyurem Black, and which is his last Pokemon. Barely survives the spikes and the Stealth Rock damage, and another Grass Knot will be enough to win here. I chose Grass Knot over the Thunderbolt because of Kyurem's Black ability. At that point I wasn't sure what it did, and I figured by just clicking Grass Knot at that range I would be safe, and so we took our first win in the ICBA with a comfortable 3-0 over my opponent. Granted, we did get that super lucky turn. My opponent prepared really well for my team. His lead was super annoying. Between his lead, the Kyurem Black, and Mega Aggron, we were definitely in a lot of trouble against my opponent, but in the end, it ended up working out okay for us. So we do have a hyper offensive team. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to my week 2 battle, and I really appreciate you guys watching. Sorry this wasn't live. I don't know when my computer crashed. Just as the battle was finishing, like a few seconds, I was saying my goodbyes. I was saying thank you so much for watching, blah blah, and then my computer crashed. So a few seconds earlier, and I would have been able to click the record button to finish the recording, and I tried my best to salvage the footage, but it just wasn't possible. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you will keep supporting the CHELSEADRA Pokemon Club in the future, and look forward to next Monday for a brand new battle against a different opponent. Thank you guys so much, and until next time, bye.